What's up, YouTube? So in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 offensive linemen for the 2023 NFL Draft. And before I get started, I just want to start by saying this. When I am looking at offensive line, I value people that have high floors over high ceilings. What I mean by that is I like taking offensive linemen that I can see what they're capable of right now and what will transition to the NFL right now. More so than a player where I look at their athletic ability and try to anticipate where they could be 10 years from now, if that makes any sense. So Paris Johnson is a very good athlete. He's 6'6", 310 pounds, looks for work, angry as hell, very athletic, very strong. But the problem is his balance, feet, and hands all could use a lot of work. He plays with a pretty good base, pretty good knee bend. But I think a lot of his technical abilities could stand to get a lot better. I think you can plug him in right now and he'll be okay just off athletic ability alone. But I think he has a lot of room to improve as a player. And he's more of a high ceiling player. I think his floor is a lot lower than his ceiling. And I'll talk about that more when I get into some other players as well. But I just kind of want to go over that. I do like him. I see him probably as more of a late first, early second, probably more so the second, honestly. Just as what it is. I know a lot of people are valuing him much higher than that, but whatever. Number 4, Broderick Jones from Georgia. Kind of similar to Paris Johnson. He's 6'4", 310 pounds, very athletic. He has better feet than Paris. Can get to second level very well, looks for work, plays with a good base, mirrors his man pretty well. Both of them have a tendency to lean. I forgot to mention that with Paris Johnson. I'm not a fan of that. Because when you're leaning forward, someone can grab your jersey, pull some cloth, do a swim move over the top, and if you're a 300-pound man already leaning forward, you're probably going to end up on your face. So I'm not really a big fan of that. I'd like to see him kind of work that out of him. Both of them have a tendency to get their hands outside, which isn't something I love. I like when offensive linemen get both their hands inside. That's where you're powerful. That's where you can control the player the best. So I'd like to see him kind of clean that up. Pretty good finish. He will absolutely finish his blocks, which is great. He has a lot of really good physical tools. They're both... I think Broderick Jones and Paris Johnson are fairly similar players. They're both very, very athletic and raw at the same time. They are both very strong, very angry. They have all the traits that you would like. But I don't think they're technically there with some of the other players that are above them. Now, if you told me 10 years from now that these two are going to be better than who I have as at number 1, I would not be shocked. But they're not better than him right now. So, that's what that is. Moving on to number 3, Peter Skoronski, who a lot of people were talking about as their number 1 prospect. I am not. I do like him. I see him probably as a second-round pick. I think Broderick Jones and Paris Johnson are also second-round picks. Peter could probably slide into the first. He's 6'4", 315 pounds. Hands could improve. They kind of get outside more than I would like. Pretty good feet. When his hands do get inside, he looks a lot better. Gets the second level pretty well, mirrors people pretty well. Could be better with gap exchanges. I know a lot of people are saying he should play guard. I'm not really trying to hear that. They're saying that because his arms are kind of short, but honestly, if you just show him how to defeat hands, it's fine. Joe Thomas had short arms too. In the run game, he does a very good job of cutting players off, which is awesome. Plays with some anger, some athleticism. I'd like to see him punch a little bit more. Not super powerful, which is why I don't want him to play guard. Because for some reason, that's another thing. A lot of people try to move people to guard because they don't think they'll be good tackles. But I'm going to tell you, guards aren't just offensive linemen that aren't good enough to play tackle. They're two very different positions that require different traits. At tackle, you need to be athletic. You need to be able to move. You need to be able to have good hands. At guard, you need the hands just as much, But you also need to be much stronger. Like, think about the opponents you're going to face on a regular basis. As a tackle, you're going to be up against edge rushers, which are more athletic. But if you're a guard, you're going to be up against 300-pound men every single snap. So if your big issue is that your arms are short and that you're not that powerful, why would you put them up against people that are going to be much stronger and more powerful? That makes zero sense to me. He's a tackle in my eyes. And he is a left tackle, so that also could get him drafted sooner. Also, little side note, Duke Manyweather is a fantastic NFL, really offensive line coach that helps develop a lot of these guys, and he has been showing a lot of support for Peter Skoronski as of late. So I'd kind of keep an eye on that too. He is very, very good at developing offensive linemen. So that's a thing. Moving on to number 2, Darnell Wright. I know a lot of people have him much lower than I have him, and I can understand. But again, I am a high floor scout with offensive line. He is 6'6", 335 pounds, has some athleticism to him, very nice punch, can wall guys off well on the run, gets the second level pretty solidly, good help guy, plays a little bit high, feet are average but not bad, not great, fast hands, tenacious ass player, has the strength to him, solid first round player, plays with a good anchor but isn't really going to move people, pretty solid technically, good hands. And one thing I love too, this is a little tidbit that showed me how technical this guy is. If he can't get your hands inside, if he can't get his hands inside immediately, he'll grab your elbows. Which I don't know if I don't know how many people will understand the excitement I get when I'm watching offensive line. It's my favorite position to watch. And this is why I love high floor players, because I love the technical side of offensive line play. When I seen him grabbing people's elbows to control the arms until he could get his hands inside on the chest, I was giddy with excitement. I fucking love that shit. Because if you grab your own elbow, it is much harder to control the movement of your arm if your elbow is being controlled until you can get a better hand position. Love it. And here's the thing. As I was talking about with Broderick Jones and Paris Johnson, they have higher ceilings than Darnell Wright. I think Darnell Wright is pretty much who he is. He's probably, he'll get better than he is now, but I don't think he's going to get a whole lot better. I think he's pretty much as good as he's going to be, which is better right now than Paris Johnson and Broderick Jones. But those two they have much better physical gifts than Darnell Wright. So in 10 years, they could potentially be better than him. But how many times have we seen these athletic husks of a player not work out? Especially in offensive line. Because honestly, a lot of NFL coaching staffs cannot develop offensive linemen. They just can't. And I'm a Dolphins fan. Unfortunately, we're terrible at it. It just is what it is. So I prefer the offensive linemen that are ready to go right now. Which is why my number 1 is Dawand Jones, who in my opinion is the most NFL-ready offensive lineman in this class. Very big dude, 6'8", 359 pounds, long-ass arms, good help guy, really solid first-round player, more of a mid-first-round player. Has all the strength you could ask for. Hands are solid as hell. For his size, his feet are actually pretty decent too. He's big as hell, so he's not he's not as athletic as some of the other guys. But you can plug this guy in at right tackle, and you're not going to have any problems for a long time. Very high floor guy, plug and play. Can absolutely move people, recovers well because he's strong as fuck. Handles gap exchanges very well. Like, he does everything right. But again, even more so than Darnell Wright, I think Dawand Jones is pretty much who he is. I don't think he's going to get much better than he is right now. So even just compare him to his teammate in Paris Johnson. I think that's easier because they're both Ohio State guys. They literally played on the same offensive line together. Paris Johnson has all the athletic traits to be better than Dawand Jones, but he doesn't have the technical abilities that Dawand Jones has. So Dawand Jones right now, in my opinion, is a better tackle than Paris Johnson. But Paris Johnson has a higher ceiling. So it kind of depends on what you prefer, but those are my thoughts. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, appreciate hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.